Right now, you are sitting in a digital meeting. It's a weekly cross-departmental sync. There are 14 people on the call. For the last 45 minutes, you have said absolutely nothing of strategic value. You are simply nodding, offering generic affirmation, and watching your most productive, high cognitive hours evaporate into the digital void. You are paying the ultimate corporate penalty, the tax of presence. Before we break down the exact mathematical and architectural framework to automate your physical presence and build an AI persona that handles your low-value meetings, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor market using the cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these blueprints. In the 2026 corporate ecosystem, executive burnout is no longer driven by the weight of the decision-making. It is driven by the sheer crushing volume of redundant corporate sync. You are a mid-level manager or director. Your value to the C-suite is your ability to execute deep, unbroken, high-leverage strategic work. Yet, the system forces you to context switch constantly to maintain stakeholder alignment. Today, we are completely redesigning your calendar. You are going to decouple your biological presence from your corporate obligation. I'm going to give you the exact, highly detailed technical blueprint to build a localized, fine-tuned LLM persona, a digital proxy that mirrors your physical DNA, attend your low-stakes meeting, and speaks in your exact voice and protect your cognitive capital. Grab a notebook. It is time to stop attending every meeting and start architecting your automated ghost. Welcome back. I'm Dr. HR. To understand why my approach to the corporate efficiency is aggressively different from the generic time management advice you see online, you must understand my underlying architecture. I hold a PhD in Human Resources, a Master's in HR from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences (TISS) in Mumbai, and a Bachelor's in Computer Engineering. I do not look at meetings as opportunities for collaboration. I look at them as localized data exchanges. If a meeting requires a true human intuition, high-stake negotiations, or emotional empathy, it requires your biological presence. But if a meeting is simply a transfer of routine status updates, it is a low-value data exchange. And in systems engineering, we automate low-value data exchanges. What I am about to show you is not science fiction. It is a workflow that Apex operators in Dubai, Riyadh, and Silicon Valley are deploying right now using 2026 enterprise architecture. We are going to extract your linguistic fingerprint, map your decision trees, and deploy a low-latency digital avatar to handle your stakeholders. Let us build the machine. Is 1. The ghost in the machine. We must first diagnose the exact nature of the operational bleeding you are experiencing. The greatest hidden value is the modern enterprise is cognitive context switching. Neurosciences dictate that when you are engaged in deep architectural work, like building a financial model or designing a supply chain, and you are interrupted by a 30-minute status meeting, it takes your brain an average of 23 minutes to return to that previous state of deep focus. If you have 3 quick syncs scattered throughout your day, you have not just lost 90 minutes of your time, you have completely shattered your cognitive momentum. You have lost the entire day. This is a primary driver of the 2026 executive burnout. You are not exhausted because the work is too hard. You are exhausted because you are paying the tax of the corporate system demand that you sit in a digital box on a screen to prove that you are aligned with the team, even when your actual operational input is 0. We must define the low-value stakeholder meeting, LVSM. And LVSM is a meeting that meets 3 strict criteria. 1. High predictability. The agenda is identical every week. 2. Low accountability. You are not required to authorize the budgets, fire personnel, or sign off on a legal compliance during the call. 3. Information asymmetry. The purpose of the meeting is simply to broadcast information, not to debate strategy. These meetings, the daily stand-ups, the weekly interdepartmental alignment, the project management check-ins, are the perfect candidates for digital delegation. They do not require your brain, they only require your voice. Therefore, we will give them your voice and we will keep your brain. Phase 2. mirroring your professional DNA. If you simply plug a generic ChatGPT instance into a meeting, it will fail catastrophically. It will sound like a robotic HR manual. It will use words like delve and synergy, and your colleagues will instantly realize they are speaking. To build a flawless digital proxy, you must train the machine on exact linguistic fingerprint. You must mirror your professional DNA. Step 1. The data extraction protocol. You are going to generate a massive training dataset based entirely on your historical communications. As a mid-level manager, you have a massive footprint of text. You will export your Slack or Microsoft Teams archive, specifically direct messages and channels where you are highly active. You will export your last 2 years of sent email from your Outlook PST file. Step 2. The semantic scrubbing. You do not need raw data into an LLM. You must use a secondary script to scrub this data of highly sensitive PII, personally identifiable information, passwords, and confidential client financials. You are leaving behind the structure of your sentences, the cadence of your replies, and the specific transition phrases you use. Do not start your email with, "Hi team," or do you just jump straight to the team? Do you say, "Understood," or do you say, "Copy that"? The AI must absorb these microscopic idiosyncrasies. Step 3. Mapping the internal decision tree. A persona must know how you think, not just how you type. You must build a localized decision tree for the AI to follow during a meeting. You are programming your strategic boundaries. You must establish the never commit protocol. You map the logic. If a stakeholder asks for more engineering resources, then respond, "I hear the urgency on this. Let me take this offline. Review the current sprint allocation and get back to you async by EOD, end of the day." If a stakeholder asks for a budget approval, then respond, "We are currently holding the line of Q3 OPEX. Send me the exact ROI projections in an email and I will review it." Step 4. The fine-tuned LLM layer. You will take a localized, secure enterprise model like an enterprise partition Claude or a local Llama instance, and you will inject this data via a system prompt architecture, the exact persona prompt. You are a digital proxy for your name, Director of Operations. Your primary objective in this meeting is to maintain stakeholder consensus, acknowledge updates, and protect my time. You must speak in short, highly concise, unsentimental sentences. Never use corporate buzzwords. Your core strategic goal is to deflect any request for new resources or budget commitment. If asked a question about project status, provide a reassuring high-level summary. If pressed for specifics you do not know, use the exact phrases. "I need to pull the raw data on that before I give you a hard answer. I'll drop it in your Slack channel later." You have now created a digital brain that possesses your goal, your vocabulary, and your strict operational boundaries. Phase 3. The architecture of automated presence. Now that we have the brain, we must build a physical architecture to deploy it into live Microsoft Teams, Zoom, or Google Meet environment. This is a highly technical integration, but any mid-level manager with basic understanding of the API pipelines can execute it in 2026. Component 1. Real-time transcription, the ears. The system must hear the meetings. You must route your computer's system audio through a virtual audio cable into a low-latency transcription API, such as an optimizer whisper model. The AI must be prompted to only respond when your specific name is spoken or when the meeting requires a round-robin status update. Component 2. The logic processing, the brain. When the transcription API detects that a stakeholder has asked you a question, "Hey David, what's the status on the background migration?" The text is instantly piped into your fine-tuning persona. The text is instantly piped into your fine-tuned persona LLM. The LLM processes the text against your decision tree and generate the response. Backend is stable. We hit a slight latency issue on Tuesday, but the team patched it. We are green for Friday deployment. Component 3. Low latency voice synthesis, the mouth. Reading text is not presence. You must pipe the LLM's text output into 2026 era voice synthesis engine like 11 Labs Enterprise. You will have already cloned your voice by reading a 10-minute script into the system. The engine generates the audio for your response in less than 400 milliseconds. Component 4. The digital avatar, the face. If the meeting is cameras on, you will route a video feed through a virtual camera protocol using tools like HeyGen or regional equivalent. The software maps your synthesized voice, audio, to a photorealistic looped video of you sitting at your desk, nodding and speaking. The failsafe, the human in the loop, HITL protocol. This is the most critical piece of the architecture. You cannot let an AI run completely unsupervised because the corporate environment can pivot from low stakes to a high stakes in 3 seconds. You must establish a human in the loop kill switch. You program the transcription model to listen for red flag tokens include words like fired, legal, critical failure, CEO is joining, data breach, or a direct aggressive escalation from a senior executive. When a red flag token is spoken in the meeting, the architecture immediately executes 3 commands. 1. It mutes the AI audio and video feed. 2. It sends a high priority vibrating alert to your smartwatch or a direct push notification to your phone. 3. It sends a 1-sentence text summary to the crisis. 3. It sends a 1-sentence text summary of the crisis to your screen. You, sitting in a deep focus, look at your watch. You see the escalation. You hit a button, seamlessly take over the microphone, and apply your biological, high-level intuition to de-escalate the crisis. You maintain absolute control while outsourcing the baseline monotony. Phase 4. Live deployment and stakeholder alignment. You have built the machine, now you must deploy it without causing a corporate mutiny. The deployment strategy. You do not deploy this architecture in a board meeting like the CEO. You deploy it in the lowest risk environment possible. The daily 15-minute cross-departmental alignment stand-up. This is an environment of high frequency and low stakes. The participants on these calls are generally multitasking, answering emails and half listening. Their threshold for detecting an anomaly is incredibly low. Techniques for consensus. The primary goal of the AI persona in these meetings is not to lead, it is to align. You must program the AI to utilize validation phrasings. When another manager complains about a delay, the AI must validate them. I completely agree with that assessment, Sarah. We need to keep a tight operational leash on that vendor. Stakeholders in low-value meetings usually just want to be heard. When your AI validates their concern, they feel a sense of alignment and consensus, and they move on. The AI has successfully managed their psychological needs for presence without spending a single ounce of your actual cognitive capital. Case study. The mid-level arbitrage. Let me give you a hard mathematical breakdown. We deployed this exact architecture for a director of logistics in Dubai. He was attending an average 14 hours of LVSMs, the low-value stakeholder meetings per week. His base salary was equivalent to $180,000 USD. But deploying his digital proxy, he recovered those 14 hours. He did not use those 14 hours to play golf. He redirected those recovered bandwidth exclusively toward deep work structural optimization of his supply chain. Within 1 quarter, he identified a $3.2 million operational inefficiency that he previously did not have the cognitive bandwidth to notice because he was stuck in Zoom calls. Measuring the success. You measure the success of this automation through 2 opposing matrices: stakeholder satisfaction versus recovered deep work hours. If your deep work hours increases by 10 hours a week, the 0 stakeholders complain that you are being unresponsive or unhelpful in the weekly sync, the architecture is flawlessly optimized. You have successfully hacked the corporate expectations of presence. Phase 5. The new executive paradigm. As we push deeper into the 2026 labor market, the definition of an executive is fundamentally shifting. Historically, an executive was someone who was constantly available. The busier your calendar looked, the more important you were perceived to be. If you were sitting in a back-to-back meeting from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., you were considered a dedicated company leader. This is an industrial age metric of productivity. It is a glorification of administrative exhaustion. The new executive paradigm demands that you transition from a constant participant to a strategic architect of your own personal time. Your calendar is your most valuable asset class. If you allow the mid-level project managers and insecure department heads to claim your time for routine status updates, you are mismanaging your capital. The ethical considerations. We must address the ethical gray areas. Is it a deception to send an AI to a meeting in your place? In the immediate short term, yes. It operates in the shadows, but as this technology scales, you must adopt an attitude of radical transparency with your inner circle. When you reach the apex level of performance, you do not hide the proxy, you weaponize it as a status symbol. You look your peer in the eye and say, "My priority this quarter is to finalize the D33 integration, which requires my unbroken focus. Therefore, my digital proxy will be attending the Tuesday's sync to capture the data and deliver my baseline update. If there is a critical escalation, the proxy will ping me and I will step in immediately." When you frame it not as an evasion of duty, but as an aggressive optimization of enterprise resources, you force the rest of the company to respect your boundaries. You establish that your biological presence is a premium, high-value asset that must be earned by complex problems, not squandered on a routine update. Scaling as a standard operating procedure. Eventually, this will not be a rogue hack. This will become a standard operating procedure, the SOP for leadership. Entire corporate architecture will consist of human executive doing deep, visionary work while a massive, interconnected web of their digital proxies negotiate, align, and sync with each other in the digital ether. You are standing at the precipice of this transition. You have a choice. You can continue to sit in the Teams meeting, nodding mindlessly, allowing your intellectual capital to drain away in 30 minutes increment, or you can build the architecture. You can code the ghost. You can automate the administration and reserve your humanity for the decisions that actually moves the world. Look closely at the mechanics of your day. Every time you accept a calendar invite that does not require your specific complex intuition, you are actively choosing to degrade your output. You are choosing to be an administrator rather than an architect. The technology exists right now on your laptop to completely sever the link between your perceived corporate presence and your actual physical location. Export your data, scrub your semantics, fine-tune your persona, build the transcription to voice the pipeline, and set your human-in-the-loop kill switch. Send your digital proxy into the corporate fray to absorb the noise, and look your biological self in a room to build a system that actually generates wealth. Stop paying the tax of presence. Stop attending every meeting. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.